Hey, it's Eddie's Art. You art with me. Yeah, this is episode 2, Black Rhino. And what I'm doing here is, I'm putting in some more detail using my brush pen. Yeah. Hey, this beat is nice. I love this beat. Prospect. My man, Prospect. Yeah, I'm gonna ride out to that. Okay. I'm getting closer into like I guess when you study or they talk about the third or the it's a theory or something like the 1/3. So it's essentially where you take and you have your piece broken up into thirds, and you try to bring a focal point to your art or what you're trying to convey. And the majority of my focal point, if you see it, it's going to be in that third of, it's going to be the, probably you look at your left third where I'm really detailed, so I'll be more focused. A lot of artists talk about this, art theories and concept and things of that nature. A lot of the, I guess, so-called masters or so on, so forth and so on, do this where they make something really detailed, or they add some type of attribute to it, whether they darken it in or put a lot of attention into this one area when it draws your eyes to it. On my particular piece, I'm doing this with around the horn area, the nostrils, and the eye, where I want you to more focus on those things, and so I'll put a little bit more extra detail and so forth and whatnot going on in there. Yeah, and yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm gonna slowly go into um, once I finish doing this inking. I'm gonna go a little bit more into like the penciling, and I believe you guys are gonna get to see me do use my electric eraser, and I'll talk about that when I get into that part of it. And those parts, I use my smudger. That's what I call it. Like, I don't know a lot of technical terms. I'm gonna find these out for you guys, and I'll start using the technical terms. So, like, if you guys go to like these art stores like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever you go, Joanne's, you'll be able to pick up some of these things too and start it. One of the things that like I said, that I try to do, or I was trying to convey in this whole, is where you can see where you see volume. So you're gonna see me doing. If you look around that eye and around that nostrils, you see it looks more 3 dimensional. It doesn't look as flat as like going. If you go further back into like the shoulder head part, where the ears, you see it's gonna start. Even when I'm gonna get to that part too. You'll start seeing that be a little bit more detailed, and you'll start seeing. It'll almost feel like you can see the ridges. You can see the tapers and the kind of like how it's chamfered or recessed in some areas, and some areas seem to protrude. Like if you look around, right where the horn and like in between the two horns, and if it's going to the eye, you can see kind of like it's like a tubular shape going toward the eye socket and eyeball, and there's a lot of like wrinkles, a lot of places where it's recessed, and I'm darkening in those areas, and where I'm leaving like more light, that's gonna be kind of like the highest point where light is actually touching that particular area. So it's going to be exposed more. Everything else is going to be darker because it's setting back. So the darker, to me, and how I'm seeing it, the darker it is, the more recesses it is on that particular piece, or of the drawing. So if it's out more, it's gonna be lighter. So the light is hitting that first, and everything else is kind of like in the shadows and dark. At least that's. I mean, I hope I'm making sense in the way I'm describing this. Um, and you can kind of see like around this, try to manipulate, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to manipulate this two-dimensional surface, or this plane, and trying to trick your eyes to thinking that, or getting a feeling that this is three-dimensional. And with adding these little nuance and details, it will kind of do that for you. And like I said, again, I don't have any formal training as far as this. This is just, you know, um, just going practicing and stuff. I was watching this one YouTuber guy, and I'm gonna find his name. When I find his name, I want to give him some notoriety about it. But he kind of like said, go like he has like these trees, and if anybody knows, like, go ahead and put it in the comment area if you know what I'm talking about, or you know this individual. He's he talks about like going out and drawing like nature and drawing trees. He went and he took a picture of a tree. And then I believe he found one like on Google Images or something like that. And he found this tree, and it was like a huge kind of like oak tree or something, but it was intertwined and tangled. And so he was trying to show, I guess he's saying, by drawing this, it'll help you out in your other drawings. And like I said, I haven't drawn anything in a while, or haven't did any art in like maybe a couple of months, probably, seriously. And I was like, just for a couple of weeks, I would like go to random parks or something like that, and I would draw these trees and these sceneries, and it's kind of rudimentary, like some of the stuff, but it forced me kind of to, okay, imagine how could I make this look like this particular part is protruding. How can I make this look like it's moving in this way, in this direction? And if you see like around the eyes and around the mouth, it kind of like a swoop. It's a kind of swooping motion, like underneath the eyes, where the eyes are starting, and then you see the roundness. You kind of see around this, it coming back up, and I guess it's kind of flowing with the head and the skeleton and skull. And I guess this is why a lot of artists say that you shouldn't skip like the anatomy and stuff like that. Like, I'm not a like I said, I've never had any like formal training even in anatomy or anything like that. I did look at a skull. Like, I did look at some Google pictures of a skull of a rhino and stuff like that. So it did kind of give me some type of map of excuse me, of where I should be going with this or whatnot, and how I see how everything fit. Like, I was able to see the eye socket cavity on the skull, and it kind of gave me a mental picture. Okay, I see why it is where it is, where the horn and how the horns fit into it. So it's kind of like it gives you a foundation of your structure, what you're trying to go with, and everything like that. And even if you see the ear, like where I'm kind of at right now, the ear kind of has these folds in it, and right around the top of the head, and like that inner part of that top ear, you kind of see where I kind of go in that line, and it gives a figure of like kind of like a roundness, and the two and the shape of that ear like folding, and it's attached to that head. And you gotta understand, like, 3 of your 5 was it smell, see and hear, touch, take, well, four out of the five senses that you would have are all in the head, closest to the brain. And if you think about it, it's pretty cool engineering. um, because see the eyes close to the brain, because the brain is in the head essentially. The nose, nostrils. So you get whatever you're smelling, senses that sensory is right there in the forefront. Because a lot of times you're gonna smell something first, mouth, and because like I know a lot of people or science says that a lot of times what makes food appetizing to you is the smell. So if food or whatever you're intaking has a favorable aroma, it's going to more likely taste better to you, be more digestible. The tongue and the tasting of everything is like secondary, and it works hand in hand with the smell. Um, Eye sensory is right there too. So you know you see them. Sometimes you want see something looks a little favorably to you, it's gonna taste better as well. And then like just hearing and one of the senses of the hearing. I mean, of course, the other one would be like touch. So it'll be probably in your hands or something like that when you touch and feel something. But if you really think about it, four of your five sensories that you have are closest to the brain. That's the tongue, the taste, nose, nostril, smell, eyes, see, and ears to hear. And yeah, so it's pretty awesome. But so yeah, right now as you see me, I'm getting more. I'm trying to give you more of like I said, where things are more recessed or whatnot. I'm going darker in there. I'm putting lines and doing some line work in there. Um, like as far as make like it's this is I think I'm better at doing things that's kind of like more organically than just like more straight lines. Um, that's something I do want to improve on my line work, making sure that I don't stop. I can make complete lines. I have done some exercises with that. There's been some artists that uh, I have followed. Just like most of my, like I said, I can say I haven't been formally trained, but I have, like, I guess self trained myself. Like most people doing in this age, a lot of things you can learn on your own, and people learn differently. Some people learn by watching others and stuff like that. Some people learn like through text and reading. They can absorb information that way and retain it. So, and like some people do it oratorily, where like someone speaking in a lecture, they retain it. I feel I can do it all those different ways, but like actually seeing like is, I mean I guess there's different terms for those different things too, scientific terms or whatnot. Again, if you know, you can put in the comment box, or let me know. And I want to try to do something. And if you guys have any other, I think what I'm gonna do next, something's. I mean, it's been really crazy. I don't know. It's like I want to I want to continue with these large land mammals. So I want to do like probably a series of them. I don't know exactly how many, but I think the next large land mammal that I want to do is a moose. I want to tackle, like I said, I like organic things that are not so much in a straight line, but where you can build on them. Take these shapes and build on them, like horns and stuff like that. And so I want to do the moose next. Um, so that's gonna be my next one that I do. After this, I'm gonna do a moose. um, yeah, I wanna. So like I said, I don't exactly know how many more, but I want to continue like doing a series of the large land mammals. Um, I don't know. I kind of. I think one of the reasons why. Um, Subconsciously, I think I done it because I've been really kind of into. In the last couple of months, I've been investigating in Graham Hancock and his theories on large land mammals in the Western Hemisphere. like the Americas, um, kind of like the prehistoric ones, and then what derived from the prehistoric ones till we have modern day ones. Like he talked about like these bears that were like 10 times bigger than the grizzly bears or the polar bears. They're like super bears. They had like a lion that was 10 times bigger than the lion in Africa. So just imagine seeing something like that, prehistoric lion. So um, the mammoth is bigger than an elephant. And I don't know if you've seen an elephant up front. I mean, in person, or a lion in person at the zoo or something like that. Just imagine these things, even bears. Imagine something 10 times bigger than those land mammals. So yeah, I really want to. I think that was kind of focus. I want to focus on doing some land mammals, and it's kind of cool because like for me, I like kind of bridging uh like his history with modern day, and kind of figure out okay why things are they are now, and um you can kind of see the history in some of the things that you have today. Like a lot of different ordeals. So like I see dinosaurs in this rhino. Like if you look at the nose and you see how you know how it's built up, you see like that beak type structure in the top, upper mouth, upper lips of this rhino. See how the eye is, how it's sunk in. It has all these like different layers, wrinkles around the eye, which and I know there's some reason for this construct of this animal and why things are the way they are on this animal because of his via environment, things he's come in contact with, probably um, how he defends himself or whatnot. Because you think about it, if you look at his horns and his eyes setting back from his horns, that would kind of make sense in a way because if he's like battling another rhino for other territory or mating purposes or whatever, um, like his eyes being set back there would be optimal, be the optimum place for him to be because of the horns of the other rhino or something like that. Um, the ears being back like that, you know, is optimal for his lifestyle, whatever, and his nose, of course, for him rooting, vegetation and stuff like that. Like we talked, like I kind of spoke about earlier, how and I'm a type of person too. I think cognitively. I mean, I have this long thing. I got a cousin. He kind of get on me all the time. Said, "Man, why you keep saying all? You don't have to say all those words. All you have to say is just think critically." But I like to say, I think I'm a crucial, critical, cognitive thinker. Um, so I try to make things make sense for me. So I think in that way. So that makes sense. You know, you want to like if smelling whatever you're digesting makes the palate more favorable, of course. And I think now you can kind of see even more. Since my hand was out of the way or whatever, you can see more of how that eye and it kind of tells you like underneath the skin, which makes sense about the skeleton. It kind of gives you okay that feeling of that skeleton being underneath that skin layer and whatnot. The horn, and you kind of see the mouth, and it kind of makes more sense. And like his jaw, you can kind of see the roundness of his jaw, even though it's 2 dimensional. You can see the roundness of his jaw and whatnot, and you kind of see things the way his kind of swoops like down. You can kind of see these lines where it swoops, and kind of you can see roundness in places where muscle is forming around the skeletal form, and how his eyes are sitting there. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to clean up around where I just got like either just graphite or pencil lead, in areas and stuff like that, and trying to clean up some of that area off of it. I inked the square where I like kind of put margins or whatever. I did that with just a magic marker. Uh, and I wanted to kind of give it a hue, like a blue kind of hue. And so, as you see me now, I'm grabbing like my color pencils, but I don't know, it wasn't really working, like taking to the paper like I really wanted it to. I think I want to try to get a tone palette maybe, or a tone paper. I think that's something I want to do next. So and I think I might probably be better if I use some of the pastel pencils. I think it'll take to this paper a lot better. I mean, I was just experimenting a little bit too. It didn't quite come out the way I wanted to, so I kind of like started smudging and blending it in a little bit. I just wanted to get like a kind of a blue hue on the top and some of the areas, some of the higher um, rise areas and stuff like that. And it's kind of, I'm saying, I'm kind of going darker, and you see it's starting to look more detailed, and it's starting to come alive a little bit more than even it was. That's why I kind of cut out the first when I was actually sketching it, which the next one, hopefully I can get. I'm gonna have the camera more focused on the paper, so you can see sketching. It might be really light, but I want you guys to know I am this. I didn't. It was like a offhand comment that my daughter gave me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think she was being funny, whatever. But I mean, like I said, I haven't really, excuse me, I haven't really done anything in a while, and she was over chilling with me, and but she was upstairs. So when she came downstairs, um, my younger daughter, she was already here. She was watching me. She was actually watching the film and stuff like that. And so the older one came, and she was like, "That's really good, Dad. You traced that?" And it was kind of like a backhand, like this a little bit. She like trying to sneak this me a little bit, but I guess it was a compliment because she felt that like I traced it. I mean, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? She was it was no ill will behind that, nothing like that. That's just what you know what I'm saying, how she thought, because I mean, I guess she felt it looked really detailed. It looked like I traced it, but I mean, this is, I did it all freehand. I did take a reference. I was actually looking at it on my phone. I was taking some reference. It's not exactly how the picture was, and I kind of didn't even want it to be exact. I kind of wanted to. I took some nuances from it, and like structure and stuff like that from the Rhino that I was actually taking. See that, and that's me right there. See, I'm trying to like give some blue highlights in there, and just kind of work it. I think if I that pencil didn't really work that well. Oh, and that, so it was a little difficult. Oh man, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I want to thank people follow me too on Instagram, Lionhead Circle Instagram. Um, a lot of people liking the Black Rhino. Uh, I appreciate it. There's a lot of great artists out here, man. I mean, this, I don't know. It's a I don't know if it is really a resurgent of artists, but it's a lot of great people out there with a lot of talent, using all type of different medias, um, mediums. I'm sorry, mediums, and it's really good. So I'm an experiment. Like I said, right now, like I said, I don't know, so I'm kind of experimenting with different mediums and seeing what works and what doesn't. Like the smudge technique that I'm trying, um, and everything you're seeing in the video and whatnot. It's pretty good, um, and it's working. I mean, like I said, and you kind of see what I was talking about, the thirds rule. You can see where at this point it's getting more detail, especially around the nostrils and the eyes area. I really focus on that, and like your eyes focus to that. So I guess with that, like people say, man, it's really detailed, and so it's kind of like realism. And my buddy Rodney, when I was at work, he was telling me, he's like, man, so like I want to do stuff, but I don't want to be a copier. I don't want to be a copy machine. I don't want to be a printer. And I was like, and I said, okay, I hear what you're saying. I understand that. You know, you don't want to do that. You want to get life to what you're doing and whatnot, but you don't want to be just, saying a copier or a printer, which I definitely understand that. But if you see how the eye is focused toward the eye more, the horns, the mouth. Really, I really focused on that and getting really detailed in that area. And I wanted you to kind of see it kind of like in a three-dimensional form, not really in and like I said, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if like some artists saying, "Oh, you doing this the wrong way," or saying you should start doing this, whatever. Hey, look, I'm not a master. I'm not trained, but I mean, I'm just going off a feel. Some, a lot of this, and just seeing what I see and making it make sense to me. It's making sense to me, so I guess it's working. I don't know. You guys can tell me, but yeah, I really was working it in that whole area, and you'll start seeing me pick up more on that more on eraser. I got another video after this one. This one is coming to an end. This is the second installment on this episode 2. So it's gonna be my second installment where I'm showing you how I'm just kind of putting in some more graphite. Actually, I'm using like a kind of charcoal pencil, and this is a color pencil, and I'm kind of mixing the media a little bit, trying to get different hues like this blue hue and whatnot. So I want to kind of be like a blue hue shining in there that you can kind of see, and it won't jump out you, but it'll be very subtle. Yeah. So, yeah. So, this is your boy E. I just want to thank you guys for giving me a little bit of y'all time again, and hopefully enjoying my little art, and hopefully I'm contributing to somebody's day. Somebody can learn from what I'm doing or inspired. I hope it gives you pleasure in my art. This track is banging, man. Prospect, I gave a lot of Prospect again. Thank you guys, man. This is E-Ray, Eric's Art. You art with me. So keep doing that. Keep doing your art. If you enjoy your art, if you just love doing my channel, keep watching, subscribe, like, hit me up, comment on it. Let me know what's going on. I appreciate all you guys out there. I just want to say peace. I'm gonna let this track ride out. Thank you.